new ballroom. Marianist education is all about transformation and building a world where no one is left out. So it's very appropriate that we welcome you here today, and we thank you so much for being here. Let me first introduce Sister Mary Wendelin, who participated in the original Nuns on the Bus tour in June. She's a native of Dayton and a graduate of the University of Dayton, I think. Yes. Several of our speakers are graduates of UD, myself included, with a master's. She has been a Precious Blood sister for 53 years and currently lives and ministers with the Latino community in Cincinnati. She served as an educator, a service provider, and an advocate for those who live outside the margins of society in Ohio, Arizona, Washington, D.C., and the West Bank. She lobbied on the local and national level for restoration of food stamps and Medicaid, comprehensive immigration reform, and peace with justice in Palestine and Israel. In April 2012, Sister Mary received the Cesar Chavez Award for her work with the Latino immigrant community in Cincinnati. Let's welcome Sister Mary.
Oh, thank you so much for being here. It is an absolute pleasure as a graduate of this university to be back here. And also as a graduate of the University, Louise Akers is also one of the alumni also. We have just come from Cincinnati, where we had a rousing send-off last night and a beautiful prayer service, so inclusive of everyone, so inclusive of the needs of our society and those at the margins. And then this morning, we had a listening session where we listened to people from housing projects, people in parenting classes, people whose loved ones had died because of lack of health care and lack of insurance. People who had been incarcerated and came to a certain place, St. Augustine's in Cleveland, where they tried to get their lives together, and they had this support as a single father with his 6 daughters, trying to make it in this world of ours. Then we went on to see a project that's out of a trailer. It's called Healthy Moms and Babes. This is health care for women who are uninsured, moms who are pregnant, moms who really have a hard time getting their Medicaid and getting through the system because of language or other barriers. And so we're here to say that you are the future, and you are the ones that are going to help us to carry out the mission of the gospel, to make sure that's inclusive in our rhetoric, the most vulnerable in our society. And it seems to me by the the programs here at the university and all of the outreach work that you do, you are going to do that. And we need you to partner with us in order to make this a better society. And now I'd like to introduce Sister Leanne, excuse me, I'm sorry, Louise Akers, who would like to say a few words.
A graduate, got my master's in theology from University of Dayton, and it was at a time when I was discouraged from doing it because women didn't do those things at that time. That was in the early 70s. So I said, when I grow up, I want to be a theologian, and so I am. With what has already been said, one thing that comes to my mind that I just like to raise questions that the bishops raised in their pastoral on economic justice for all. And when you think about what Mary just described that we've heard this morning and today, they raised 3 questions in the introduction of their pastoral letter. And by the way, I've been doing justice, education, and advocacy for 45 years. So a lot of that's been focused on experience, lived experience, and also Catholic social teaching. So in the Catholic social teaching pastoral letter, they say, what does the economy do to people? What does the economy do for people? And how do people participate in it? And we need to change the way people participate in our economy. Thanks.
I'm Leanne Jablonski, a Marianist sister, scientist, educator, and pastoral minister. I'm honored to direct the work of the Marianist Environmental Education Center, part of our Marianist Social Justice Collaborative, UD's Growing Sustainability Energy Environment, C initiative, and to be part of Ohio's Clean Air Coalition, coordinating the Ohio work of the Union of Concerned Scientists, and a double UD grad. As a plant ecologist and climate change scientist, I have been disheartened when we don't follow the moral imperative of being good stewards of God's creation. And I am especially concerned about the impacts of our environmental choices, our consumption and industrial pollution on the health of all of us, and especially the disproportionate impacts on the low income and most vulnerable. I am proud of our U.S. bishops, Blessed John Paul II and Pope Benedict, who call us to live in integrity with all God's creation, to remember our special responsibility in our use of material things so we are not polluting our water and air. For clean air, clean water and food are a right for all of us. I now introduce Sister Fran Repka.
Recording this or just taking pictures?
Recording it.
The whole thing?
I'm Fran Repka. I am a Sister of Mercy, and thank you. And my mom, thank you. I am not a graduate of University of Dayton, and I think I might have missed something from what I did. As Catholic sisters, we serve those who are vulnerable, those who fall through the cracks, the marginalized. All of our foundresses founded our orders for that reason, and we try to continue that ministry and that mission. Myself, I am a psychologist by profession, and I'm connected with a center called Mercy Professional Services, which is a service for the poor, the uninsured, the underserved. And let me tell you just one story that's not atypical. It is a common story coming from our center. Just last week, and I don't think I'm violating any confidentiality in telling this story, and have actually permission to tell the story. It was a family of 5. They were doing quite well, making it, didn't have a lot of extra, but the father of the family lost his job. Subsequently, he lost his insurance for the family, health insurance. His wife had a job as a receptionist, not much money coming in. They had 3 children, all in grade school. The mother was in an auto accident, making her very laid up to take care of her family, but she struggled to do that the best she could. The father tried to find a job, but he did find a some minimal income, but it wasn't enough to serve and to provide for this family of 5. Subsequently, he became ashamed that he couldn't do this for his family. His self-esteem was low, etc. The children did less well in school because there was starting to be a lot of stress in the family. It was the wife who called our center because her husband was suicidal. And so we tried to help the family just to survive emotionally, psychologically, spiritually, until they could get a hold again. This is not an uncommon story today. It is everywhere.
Just makes me feel hopeful, because I know that you are the future, and I know that you will have the power to change the world. You have the power to change the conversation. And so I want to thank you for being here, and thank you for caring.